Good afternoon, class. Hope you have watched the previous video and all that concept, whatever I have explained in that. I thought that it is clear. Okay, so now we are going to start the next topic, and that is rounding up. Okay, so how to do the rounding up? First, you should know this. Round up. Round up, it means like question will be there round up the following digit in three significant figure, or maybe four significant figure, or five significant figure, anything. Okay, got it? This can be any number. So how to do this? Suppose that example is there, 28013, like this. Okay, so what you have to do, you have to round up this number in such a way so that the significant figure should be let me first let me take the simple example, then I will take this one. Okay, so suppose that it is 280.13. okay, so now if this is three significant figures, so what you will do, you have to check the fourth figure. Whatever the number is given, one more than that figure you have to check. So if it is three significant figure, you have to check the fourth digit, isn't it? If this fourth digit is less than 5, then this that is not going to be round, like this number will remain same. If this number is less than 5, then the third digit will remain same. Got it? So what will be the round up figure for this? 280 only. And this is your this is having your three significant figure, 1 2 3 significant figure 3. In the same like another example, let me take, if it is 280.63, and the same thing, three significant figure, up to three significant figure you have to round up. So you have to check the fourth one. This is more than 5, isn't it? More than 5. So 1 will be added in third digit. Clear? Okay, so what will be the round up for this? 281, isn't it? And how many significant figure over here? 1 2 3 significant figure 3. Any doubt in this? Similarly, if question is there, round up to two significant figure. So which digit you have to check? Second figure. Which digit you have to check? You have to check this time third digit. Okay, let me take an example. If it is 212.6, okay, and another example, let me take 219.6. okay, so check two significant figure. So what you have to do, you have to check this third digit. Got it? Third digit is less than 5. So what it will be? It will remain same. This number is not going to change. Got it? So what it will be? 21 only. Now concept is, if you are writing this 212 and you are writing only 21, are they same? Are they same? No, they are not same. So what you will do in this way, you have to make the significant figure 2 only. So in that case you will write 10 to the power. How many digits we have to shift to? Just 110 is left over here, so you make it like this. Clear? Any doubt? So this is a significant figure 2.21 and So it means almost it is what? It is, if you consider this value, just to explain I am telling you, it will be to 110, isn't it? So it is almost same, round up, isn't it? Clear? Or you can do in this way. This is not in scientific figure, so you can do it 2.1 into 10 to the power 2. In this way also, the significant figure only 2, isn't it? Clear? And the value is almost same. Are you getting what I am explaining? So that is very important topic. Try to understand this. Now, in this, what you have to do? This digit you have to check, and this is more than 5. So what you have to do? You have to add 1 in the previous one. So if you will add it, it will be 22. Is it both value are same? 219 and this is 22. Is it same? Not same. So to make it two significant figure, you have to write it like this. Otherwise, what will happen? If you will write 220, suppose that. So how many significant figure it is having? It is having 3 significant figure, isn't it? But you have to find only that number, round up that number up to 2 significant figure only. Got it? So that's why what we have to do? We have to write in form of exponential or power. Is it okay? Or in scientific notation term, you can write 2.2 into 10 to the power 2. Isn't it? Any problem? So there are so many questions. Suppose that another example I'm giving you, that is for you. Okay? Express the following, you as a homework. Express the following up to 4 significant figure. Okay? And the number is 6.5089. Second is suppose 32.9238. Third is 8.721 into 10 to the power 4. And fourth is 2000. Okay? Got it? Like in the first, I have done this question. Suppose that this is. So let me solve this question also. 28013 up to 3 significant figure. What you will do in this case? 3 significant, so you will check the fourth one. The fourth one is less than 4. So it will remain same. The third digit will remain same. So it will be 280 only. So is it same? 28,000 and here it is 280. Is it same? No. So to make it same, what you will do? The rest number should be in the exponent form. So what it will be? 2. Isn't it? Okay. If you just do it, 28 and 00. So it is 28,000, 28,013 or approximately same. So this is called round up. Yes. So we don't have to do this. You just to check. I'm just telling this to check. So if you have to write in the scientific notation, what you will do? You will write it in 2.8 into 10 to the power. Decimal, I'm assuming it here. So shifting left hand side, it will increase 4. Any doubt? Okay. So this is the question you have to do. Here only you will do when you will check that video. Will watch the video, pause the video and do it. Okay. Okay. So after that, this is the roundup. Next we are going to start with the laws of chemical combination. Okay. So next heading is laws of chemical combination. So that already you have done in class 9th, isn't it? How many of you can recall it? Okay. The first was, yes, I can hear many of you are saying law of conservation of mass, isn't it? Okay. So law of conservation of mass says that the mass of the reactant and product, that means mass before the reaction will be, before the reaction and after the reaction will be same, isn't it? So this law says that in all the physical and chemical changes or chemical reaction, in all the physical and chemical reactions, or you can write the changes, okay, reaction, the total mass of the products and the products is same as the total mass of reactant. Just let me take an format. Suppose that A plus B is reacting to form C plus D, and I have taken X gram of this, Y gram of this, and this is M gram and this is N gram. So according to law of conservation, what it says, X plus Y gram will be equal to M plus N gram, isn't it? Okay, so this is law of conservation of mass. So on this basis, law of conservation of mass, let's do an question. I have written the question here. What weight of sodium chloride is decomposed by 4.9 gram of sulfuric acid if 6 gram of sodium hydrogen sulfate, okay, and 1.285 gram of hydrogen chloride are produced in the same reaction? So what you will do, first write the balanced equation, okay. So what it is, sodium chloride is NaCl plus is decomposed by 4.9 gram of sulfuric acid plus H2SO4. So what it is forming? It is forming sodium hydrogen sulfate, that means NaHSO4, and 1.825 gram of hydrogen chloride. This is HCl, isn't it? So now what is the weight of this is not given, and this is 4.9 gram, this one is 6 gram, and this one is 1.825 gram. So can you find this NaCl weight? Yes, by this equation. So we know that, suppose that it is X. So according to law of conservation of mass, X plus 4.9 will be equal to 6 plus 1.825, isn't it? So X will be, find it fast, what it will be. This is 7.825, isn't it? Minus 4.9. It will be 2.925. Yes? Just check. So what will be the weight of this NaCl, which is going to react with the 4.9 gram of sulfuric acid? This is 2.925 gram. Clear? Okay class, so here is next question. When 4.2 gram of sodium bicarbonate is added to a solution of acetic acid, this is acetic acid, weighing 10 gram, it is observed that 2.2 gram of carbon dioxide is released to atmosphere, and the residue, whatever the form, you will decide what will form, okay. The residue is found to weigh 12 gram. Show that the D's observation are in the agreement with the law of conservation of mass. So what you have to do, you have to prove that X plus Y is equal to M plus N gram, like this. We have done a X plus Y gram. You can see X plus Y gram is equal to M plus N gram. So that you have to prove. So first, for that, you have to write first the balanced equation. This is NaHCO3 and the acetic acid is CS3COOH. It is going to form, like carbon dioxide gas will be released. So what will form next? Since I have in class 10th you people have done, if there is carbonate, it will give carbon dioxide, isn't it? Yes. And here it is said that the residue is next, what will left? This part is left, CH3COO, and what will happen? This H and OH, this H and this the oxygen of this, isn't it? Oxygen of this, that will form water also. So this water will evaporate. There is no weight for this considered. Okay, we haven't considered any weight for this. Okay, so what left? This is CH3COONA. Yes. So Is it balanced? Check. Yes, 1H, 2H here and 1 oxygen. Yes, it is balanced. So we don't have to consider this weight. Is it clear? And this CO2, what is the weight for this? 2.2 gram. This residue is found to weigh 12 gram. Yes, 12 gram. And 4.2 gram of NaHCO3 we have taken to the solution of weighing 10 gram. Okay. So what we have to show? For law of conservation of mass, what should be there? Total mass of the reactant, will be equal to total mass of product, isn't it? Okay. So what is the total mass of the reactant here? 4.2 gram plus 10 gram, isn't it? That will be 14.2, isn't it? And here total mass of product 12 gram plus 2.2 gram. So total is again 14.2 gram. So by this way we can say that these observations are in the agreement with the law of conservation of mass. Is it clear? Okay. We are going to start the next law, and that is the second law is, first law is law of conservation of mass. Yes, this one. And second law is law of definite proportion. Second is or constant proportion. That also you have done in class 9th. Law of constant, or you can say definite proportion. Okay. According to this, what it says? Can anybody think of it? Recall that whatever you have done in class 9th. Okay. It says that a pure chemical compound always consists of the same element combined together in a fixed proportion by weight. Or in simple language you can say that two different chemical compounds, or in other words two different elements always combine with each other to form a new compound, to form a compound in always combine in fixed proportion with each other to form a compound. Got it? Two different elements always combine in fixed ratio with each other to form a compound. Got it? Let's example, if carbon dioxide has to form. Yes. So it will made up of carbon and oxygen, isn't it? So what weight we have taken for carbon? Carbon is 12 gram, isn't it? And oxygen, one oxygen is having 16. So this is 32, isn't it? Okay. So 12 and 32. What is the ratio for this? If we divide it, it will be 3:8 ratio. So that means whenever we have to make carbon dioxide by this, there should be the ratio of 3:8, isn't it? Suppose that if we have to prepare here 4 CO2, accordingly we will do 4 carbon, isn't it? And 4 oxygen, isn't it? So here it is 4 into 12, and this is again 4 into 32, isn't it? Again the ratio is 3:8. So whatever moles we have to prepare, this is considered as moles. So whatever moles we have to prepare, it doesn't matter. The elements will always be in the same ratio with their weight. Got it? Is that clear? Like another example, this is example 1. Another example, like we have to make water. So water will form with this H2 and O2. You can say here, you can ask here that why we need only one oxygen. So why we have taken O2? Why not O? So see, in class 9th only you people have done that. The gases always exist in form of dimer, isn't it? It will never exist as O. जितने भी gases हैं, like nitrogen can never exist as N. Oxygen can never exist as O. Hydrogen can never exist as H. Are you getting it? So all the gases, जितने भी gases होते हैं, सब के सब it exists in diatomic form. Clear? Few examples are there, like phosphorus that exists in P4 and ozone that exists in O3. Rest all the gases exist in diatomic form. So that's why we cannot write oxygen over here. Single O. If we have to mention this oxygen, it must be O2. I hope it is clear. Okay. So now, if we have to balance it, so what do you do? What you will do? We'll take the half mole of this, isn't it? Any problem? Or in other words, you can write this will be 2H2O. If we'll balance it, then it will be O2 and it will be 2H2, isn't it? So what will be the ratio here? Check the ratio. This is for one hydrogen it is 1. So for 4 it is 4, isn't it? And for one oxygen it is 16. So for 2 it is 32. Hope it is clear. Yes. So what is the ratio? 1:8, isn't it? So whenever we have to prepare water from hydrogen and oxygen, the ratio of their mass, of their weight, that is important thing. That should always be 1:8 ratio. Clear? Whether you form 2 moles or you form 1 mole. 1 mole maybe you can see H2 2, isn't it? Let me write here 2. And for one oxygen it is 16. So for half oxygen it will be 16, isn't it? One oxygen it is, one oxygen it is 16. So O2 will be 32 and 32 ka half kitna ho gaya? 16, isn't it? So this will be, again the ratio is 1:8, isn't it? So whatever the mole we have to prepare, either 1 mole, 2 mole, 10 mole, 5 mole, it will, the mass, the weight ratio will always be 1:8. Hope it is clear? Yes? So class, next law of definite proportion. Let's confirm it by question. Okay. So the question is, the mass of copper oxide obtained by heating 2.16 gram of metallic copper with nitric acid and subsequent ignition was found to be 2.7 gram. Got it? In another experiment, 1.15 gram of copper oxide on reduction yielded 0.92 gram of copper. Show that the data illustrate the law of constant composition. See class, as I told you that this chapter is full of numerical, and here you can see that the trailer. Yes. So this is very small numerical right now. It's going to be day by day, it's going to be tougher. Okay. So try to understand what is the question saying. Okay. Here it is saying that metallic copper, when the 2.16 gram of metallic copper and nitric acid, got it, that is going to react, then the mass of copper oxide obtained will be this 2.7 gram. Got it? Okay. So in that first question, it was you have to find the ratio of copper oxide. Actually, first equation is Cu plus HNO3, and that is going to give you copper oxide. Okay, CuO and rest NO2 and oxygen, that you are not supposed to even write. If you are not knowing this equation, there is no problem. Just to explain, I am writing it. Okay, it says that this copper oxide, it is experiment 1. So what copper oxide we are getting, what is the ratio of this copper and oxygen over here? That should be the same ratio in the next experiment. Got it? And the experiment 2, what it is? Experiment 2 is 1.15 gram of copper oxide on reduction yielded, yani copper oxide yielded copper and oxygen. Got it? So this is 1.15 gram. So this comes 0.92 gram, and here copper is 2.16 gram, and nitric acid, with nitric acid and subsequent ignition was found to be 2.7. This is 2.7. So what you have to think of it, that in the both experiment you have to prove that the ratio of copper and oxygen is same. Got it? So here, although in this equation there are so many things, but we don't have to consider this nitric acid. Actually what it is doing, actually it is just providing oxygen to it, isn't it? The copper is going to be oxidized. If you can recall your class 10th chapter, oxidation and reduction, you can see copper is here 0 and here it is +2. So what is happening here? Oxidation. And oxidation can also be defined as addition of oxygen. So this oxygen is coming from where? Where it is coming? From where it is coming? From this. So actually the role of this nitric acid is just to provide oxygen, isn't it? It is giving oxygen. So this is giving oxygen and it is going to be prepared like this. Yes, going to be obtained like this. So what you have to find, in 2.7 gram of copper oxide, yes, Cu is 2.16. So what will be the oxygen weight? 2.7 minus 2.16, isn't it? Tell me. So what it comes? 70. It is 0.54, isn't it? Yes. So we got the weight of this copper and we got the, so in this case when two equations are there and all that, so we will find the percentage over here. So find the percentage of copper in this. Okay, so what it is, what is that will be, if we are finding the percentage of copper, it will be weight of copper, isn't it, upon total weight. That means from in which we are finding the percentage, multiplied by 100, isn't it? So what we got, the weight of copper is 2.16, isn't it? And divided by total weight is 2.7 multiplied by 100. So I'm using calculator, but you are supposed to do by your own. Okay. This is coming 80%. Yes. Okay. Similarly, if this is 80%, then obviously percentage of oxygen will be 20%, isn't it? And if you have to find how, then the same formula you will use. The weight of oxygen upon total weight. Okay, you are not supposed to, like, oxygen, write in this way, OXY, okay, into 100 and put the value. This is 0.54, total weight is 2.7 into 100, you will get 20%. Clear? So what is the ratio of copper and oxygen? 80 is to 20%, isn't it? Similarly, that ratio should be there in this experiment also. Copper should be 80% and oxygen should be 20%. Then this is illustrating the law of constant composition. Let's check how. So in 1.15 gram of copper oxide, copper is 0.92 gram, isn't it? So what will be the oxygen weight? Write it OXY. Okay, oxygen weight will be 1.15 minus 0.92, isn't it? So this will be 0.23. Yes. Okay. So now find the percentage of copper. So again the same formula, weight of copper upon total weight. Total weight of what? CuO, isn't it? CuO. Total weight into 100. So what is the copper weight here? 0.92 and total is 1.15 into 100. Solve it. Yes, I am sure, but you can you solve it. You will also get 80%. Yeah. And here percentage of oxygen, if you will find in the same way, if it is 80%, so obviously 100 minus 80 it will be 20. But prove it. Okay. So weight of oxygen upon total weight into 100. So weight of oxygen is 0.23 upon total weight is 1.15 into 100, and you will get 20%. So here the ratio of copper and oxygen is same in both the experiment. That proves, you have to write it, since the ratio by weight of copper and oxygen in both the experiment remains same, so we can say that law of, is it visible, law of constant or definite proportion is illustrated. Constant proportion is illustrated. Okay, class. So hope this is clear. There are so many questions. I will give you the questions regarding this. Okay. So go through with the video properly and do all the numericals one by one by your own. Got it? Don't just copy it. Go through with the video, try to understand what it is, what I am saying, and then whenever it comes to numerical, you do it by your own. Okay? And hope it will be clear. If in doubt, you are always most welcome to ask. Okay? To make it clear. So afterwards, we will do in next class. So till then, thank you, class.